All right, all right, all right. We are here live in effect on this beautiful Thursday night for another episode of Egyptian Eyes After Dark, where ancient wisdom meets today. And so today we have a special presentation for you because we brought back Pia the Soul Mentor. She is a past life regressionist and licensed hypnotherapist. And if you missed it a couple episodes ago, she went into grave detail about what she does, how she does it, and what differentiates her from modern or other hypnotherapists in the industry. You actually get a chance to ask very detailed questions about what you want to know. Even where you're going, even the future, why you date the same people, etc. And if you missed the first episode, of course, you can go back and check that out. But if I'm not mistaken, I have a little bit of it right here. So let's just take a glimpse and then I'll bring Pia on to meet you guys. Here we go.
One of the most common questions people always ask is, what is my purpose? So you're going to write that down. You're going to think of them other ones, am I in alignment with my soul's mission? Am I in, am I in a good relationship? Is she the one? Is he the one? Or am I just spinning my wheels? You ask what's in your heart and those things that you really have been wanting to know for a long time. So that when we get into the past life regression, and there's a part in the actual process where your guides, they actually show up. And so I'm channeling and I'm asking the questions to your guides.
Alrighty, so that was a glimpse of kind of what you can expect in a session. And she was giving you live feedback on her process, how it works, and just questions that you can ask. So in today's episode, let me go ahead and cue Pia up. Hey, Pia. All right, can you hear us okay? Unfortunately, I got you muted. That's my fault. Hey, let's say something. All right. Let's see. Hold on. We have a little interference here. Your mic is muted. Can you unmute your mic, please? It's look right beneath your name, and you'll see it right there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I have Evolving Greatness, Divine Yatra Healing. Hello. Thank you so much for joining. I've got Rabbit as well, who's joined the live. So in just a few moments, we are going to bring Pia back. We're just getting some technical stuff figured out here in just a minute. Everybody, you can go ahead and drop in the chat where you are joining us from, what you do, who you are. You can also tell your friends and followers to join us as well. So we are going to be interviewing Pia and a special guest about their experience in their past life sessions. You guys will be able to ask as many questions as you want. And for those of you who have never done a past life regression session, this will be very informative for you to figure out, if you want to do this or just what you need to know. So I'm going to bring Pia back on now, and we're going to ask her a couple questions. Here we go.
Let's see that. Oh my God. Hey. I hear myself
twice.
Yes.
I know why. Here we go. All right. You better now?
I am. All right.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, hello, Pia. Sorry about that. But this, for those of you who have been on for a second, Pia is a hypnotherapist and past life regressionist. You can follow her on social media as Pia _ the Soul Mentor, as you see beneath her name. She has been a saving grace in the industry in terms of creating a unique way to really get the healing done. So, Pia, do you want to give a brief overview for those of you, for the audience that hasn't met you yet and didn't catch you the first time before we bring Jazz on?
All right. Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for stopping by out of your busy schedules tonight and joining us. So, really quick, as Destiny said, I am a certified hypnotherapist and I specialize in past life regression. And what that is using the science of hypnosis to get you into a really relaxed state so that you can tap into your subconscious mind.
Okay.
And so, in that process, we're going to go back to a life that is impacting your current life. And you get to go and walk through that life. You get to see images. You get to see who you were, 2, 3, 400, 20,000 years ago. Who knows how far back you're going to go? You just never know. And you get to see who you were, what you were doing, and pinpoint some of the things that have been, following you throughout generation to generation. It is a very effective way to get to the root of issues. Let's just say, for instance, that you are dealing with feeling like you're just being stuck. In this life, you've done everything. You've done all of the things, taken all of the workshops, you've gone all of the classes, you got 17 degrees, and things still just ain't working out for you. It's a reason for that. It's a reason for everything, and it may not even be something that you are doing. It could be something else. And so that something else is what's discovered in that past life regression. In the session that I offer, which is my signature session, is called Legacy. It actually involves several things, because first we're going to do some shadow work, because before we can go to the past, we need to find out what's going on with you right now. And so we're going to deal with that. Then we'll go into the regression portion of it. And then there's the healing and the release, just in case that, you have some hitchhikers or whatever. And we're going to make sure that
Can you define what a hitchhiker is for those of us who are not good at picking up what you're putting down?
Hitchhikers are spiritual energy that just decides to hitch a ride with you because you were there and you were vibrating on the same frequency that they were vibrating on. So they decided that they did not want to, go on to the next leg of their journey. So they would just stay with you and just live out their lives in the spirit realm, hitched to you, and live vicariously through you.
Wow. That's well said. Yeah. Interesting. So you help get rid of those as well.
Yes, it is a thorough session. It's just not past life regression. It is actually therapy for the soul.
Oh, wow.
It's soul healing. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for sharing that with us. I'm going to take a moment to shout out some of our guests. We've got Kumani on the live. We've got Hot Rod 84. We've got Rabbit 9107. We've got Bree said D4. Okay. We've got Alicia in the building. She's a psychic medium, and she's basically like your personal exorcist. You might want to get on board with her. If you feel like anything weird is going on in your home, she's a girl to call. Okay. She'll be on soon. Don't worry. And I want to say hey to Marquise. So you guys, I've got both platforms up. We've got a real treat for you because we're going to bring in a guest who had the courage enough to take Pia up on her hypno therapist / past life regression session. And we're going to basically dive in, figure out what happened, and just get all of the tea. So as you can see, I can see who's in here and what you're saying. So feel free to drop us any questions you have for Pia, myself, or our lucky special guest. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. We have the lovely Jazz in the building. Jazz, I believe your mic is muted. So you might unmute that really quick before I bring you on. Yep, period. Okay, so Jazz is in the building. Hey, Jazz.
Hey, guys. Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
Jazz.
Hey,
Hi.
Pia.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay.
All right. We're going to take that.
Glad to hear it. So Jazz is jumping on because, like I said, she saw the podcast we did with Pia initially, and she was interested in having an experience. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, Jazz. One would be, what made you decide that this was something you wanted to do?
Honestly, I feel like this chose me, honestly. Actually, when you sent me the link, Destiny, I was like, whatever. I might tune in. I don't know yet. So then,
Yeah.
like 20 minutes before, I literally went in my closet and just had a breakdown. So I just kind of surrendered to the
Mm-hmm.
universe, and I was like, you know what? Let me tap this link. And when I tapped
Mm.
it intrigued me a little bit, and I was like, okay. And I'm the type of person where I just like to go with the flow. So I feel like it chose me. So I
Wow.
had to go ahead and just surrender to the entire process. And I'm glad I did.
Wow. So that is beautiful. And I'm happy that you picked up the hints from the universe signaling you that it was time to kind of unlock the doors to the past or the windows to your soul. So that's
Mhm.
beautiful. And I really admire your courageousness and boldness to go through with that process. So one thing I would like to know is, what were you actually expecting to find out when you did this session? Like, what did you think it was going to be?
I didn't know. I honestly didn't know. And I was very nervous because, like, a lot of people are fearful of the unknown, but I honestly did not know what I was going to see or what I was going to get.
Wow. So you had no perceived notions or preconceived notions about what this was going to entail. You was just like, let's go.
Yeah, I was just like, let's see what the universe wants me to know or brings me, because I've always wondered about afterlife and like our past lives and who I was in my past life. And lately I just been questioning myself, like, why are a lot of things happening to me? Like, what's going on? I'm
Mm,
confused. Where am I going? Who am I? Who am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing? I just had
mm-hmm.
a lot of questions, and I just felt like anything could have been thrown my way. I don't know.
Wow. So,
Mhm.
Pia, would you say that in your experience, is it better to just go in with an open heart and mind, or do you find that clients like Jazz are easier to go through the experience, or what's your feedback on that?
I definitely think that it's easier if you just trust yourself, trust spirit,
Mhm.
because for the fact that that information about this session about me was brought into your reality, that's a sign from spirit too, that they want you to do it.
Mm,
When you just let go and go with the flow, it is so much better as opposed to trying to analyze it. And here's the thing about it: you really can't analyze it, because
mm-hmm.
you just never ever know. You just don't know. You don't
Yeah.
know where you're going. You don't know what's going to come up. But whatever comes up, it's because it's supposed to come up. It's
Mhm.
time for it to come up. It's time for change. It's time for growth. It's time to, drop them bags that we've been dragging. Yeah,
Right.
because these bag lady days is this coming to a close.
It
The
is.
bag lady days is over.
That's beautiful. So, Jazz, um, when you did this and you went through the process, what would you say? I guess, would you mind sharing with the audience what the process was like, however much you want to share? And guys, let me say this as well. This is not like a paid testimony. So she really doesn't have to answer questions. This is a very personal experience. And we are talking about levels of trauma in past life. So you guys are free to ask whatever you want, but some things might be sensitive in nature and she may not want to share. So we ask that you respect that as well. So I'm going to ask again, Jazz, for the record, if you wanted to kind of give the audience an overview of how it went down or what you experienced, feel free to do so.
Okay. Starting from the top, when I first arrived, because we did it in person, y'all, because I'm one of those people where I'm like, no, I'm gonna be here in my home. What if something happens to me? I need somebody to be right there to revive me or something, right? So I had to make sure we was in person. That's one. So when I got there, Pia, wasn't it chaos? It was chaos. But once we got into it, and I got into my deep state of meditation, because that's what I call it, a deep state of meditation. It was very soothing. It was very, very relaxing. I wasn't scared or anything like that.
Yeah.
At first, I didn't know, like what to expect or how things supposed to go. I thought that I was just going to vividly see things, and it was just going to be there, and I'm just going to explain it. But no, it's actually more so your soul speaking than it is yourself.
Ooh.
So that's what I came to realize. And once I realized that, Pia, as you were asking me questions, I'm a logical person and I analyze things. So I had to learn to just let it flow. Like, don't overthink it. And then the first thing that came to my mind is what came out my mouth. So the first state or the first scene that we went into was very traumatic for me. I cried a lot. It was something that was brought up that I had no clue about. And we didn't even make it to my past life until like the end of the session. We were still in my current life. So before I could even.
So wait, in your session, you went to your current life.
Right.
Wow.
First. I made it to my past life towards the end.
Okay.
But initially, I was in my current life because there was some things that I needed to heal from that I didn't even know I needed to heal from. So I would go I went straight into my current life as a little girl. What was revealed to me was very traumatic. I didn't know how to feel about it. So Pia, I don't know if you realized it, but when you were asking me questions, I would like go silent for a minute before I spoke. And that was because I was in my head. I'm like, wait, what's happening? Why is this happening? Why am I feeling these things? What is going on? Like, that was my thought. But as we went through it, I just went with it and I accepted what it was. I cried about it. I cried a lot. I healed from it too, though. So as much as I cried, y'all, I healed from it.
That's beautiful.
And
that's beautiful. Right. Let's give her
a round of applause.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It was so hard to heal from that. Like, even now, Pia, after our little follow-up session, I still had like, Pia, what is this? But I feel right now, I feel relieved. I feel like I was reborn. I feel like, and this is how I know what came to me was real, because it was things that I didn't speak about to my family member.
Yeah.
But I saw it. And she just came out and just kind of like confessed it to me. And I was like, wow, I didn't even say that. I didn't even speak on that to you. And you gave it to me in grave detail. Is exactly how I saw it to be. So that's how I knew that what I seen was real, y'all. So if you're ever questioning, or if you have the question of, what I see, is it going to be real? How do I know that it's real? Trust me, it's real.
It's real.
You're going to feel it. So as we move along, I get to like my past life, and I died in a train wreck. I died in a train wreck. My body was on fire. Literally, my body was on fire. Like, my entire body was on fire. My physical body was on fire. I felt it. And, we get to our whole transition phase. I go to the light and I see my daughter.
Wow.
And when my daughter came through me, I call it a soul peak. So like when her soul peeked through me and Pia spoke to her, my body literally felt like it levitated. Like, my soul was outside of my body. Like, it was such a powerful energy. And I don't know. Like, I don't even know how to explain that feeling. But looking back on it, so many questions was answered. Every question that I had before I went into this session was answered. Now it all made sense for me. Everything made sense for me from the beginning to the end. Train wreck, I died in a train wreck. y'all, I get in car accidents like every 2 years. Like every 2 years I get in a car accident. So that explains why I died in an accident. Um so yeah, I mean, I just really feel like the experience I really feel like I had a spiritual awakening, honestly.
Wow.
And you know, like when you're going through the process of finding out who you are as a person and just surrendering to the universe, to your guides, to God, just when you surrender and just let the universe work how it's supposed to work,
Yep.
you will find out who you are. You will get all the answers to your questions, and you will be reborn pretty much. You'll be a new person, honestly, because I feel like I'm a new person. And I feel
That's
like my
beautiful.
body is catching up to my spirit now, because it's
Yeah.
like my spirit has evolved. And I feel like now my body is like, wait, what's going on? Like we have to shed this old shell so that we could prepare for the new soul that's inside of her now. So
Mm.
I feel like a new person, and I mean, it's just a great experience. I really want to go back and do it again. Pia,
I
what
was
I say?
going to ask you.
Yeah, when I did my follow-up session with Pia, y'all, I was like, is it too soon to do it again? I want to know. I have more questions. I want to see what's what now. I really want
Yeah.
to dig deep into it.
That
So
is just so amazing. Go ahead.
That is. Oh.
Yeah,
um,
y'all didn't catch it. Pia's over there tearing up, y'all. Um, I guess it's kind of like seeing your baby go to graduation or something, because this is your work, and you get to see it to completion and help so many people in her situation. And so for you, Jazz, I have a couple of questions about your experience, because you did mention there was a train wreck, you were on fire, like in the moment you were on fire, like how did you feel in the present moment? Like, were you scared? Did it hurt really bad? Like, what's the tea?
I wasn't scared. It didn't hurt. It wasn't
Okay.
like a painful feeling. It was just more of a cooling sensation, like almost like what do you call that stuff that you like the old people be rubbing on them? Vicks. What is
Oh,
it?
being gay.
Being gay.
Oh, being gay.
Bengay. That's
Okay.
what it felt like. It was like a cool, it was like a hot cold sensation throughout
Oh
my
man.
body. So they say when you they say certain people, when you get burnt by fire, it's actually not hot, it's cold. It's
Mm,
actually cold, and
freeze.
that's how I felt. My body, it had like a cold, cooling sensation to it. But no, I
Wow.
was not afraid. I let everything happen. Like I
Mm,
feel like if you're afraid, you're not going to get what you're supposed to get from the session. You're not going to be open to receiving what you're supposed to be receiving, because you're overthinking it. Just don't overthink it. Just go with the flow.
go
Right.
with
There
the
you go.
flow.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. So,
Mm-hmm.
so in that moment, as you're going through the scenes, like, what would you say the best experience of your session was for you? What do you think
Healing.
the best part was? Okay.
Healing. Most definitely healing. And getting the answers to my questions that I actually wrote down, answered by my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say my daughter, guys, I had a stillborn in 2012. And I
Wow.
feel like after that experience, it was very traumatic for me.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of shut down emotionally from a lot of things. So I harbored and held in so much of that trauma. And just to like have her come through and answer those questions for me, I don't know, it just gave me a sense of relief. And I also felt like the world wasn't ready for her, because the way she was answering those questions,
Mm-hmm.
she sounded like a old lady, like
Yeah.
So
like
walk us through that. Like, what happened? How was she answering them? Explain that part to us.
like the context of how she was answering the questions, you can tell it was a little girl, but the things that she was saying was like of an old soul, literally.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so she had a
Um,
baby voice, but she was really wise.
very wise, baby
Okay.
voice, very wise. And y'all, when I
Mm-hmm.
say baby voice, like Pia, I don't know what it is, I don't know how it happens, but literally she had asked to like, well, who's there? I want you to lend them what you say, your mouth and your mind. Lend them your voice and your mind. I want to speak to them.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, it's nothing. It just comes out. Like I don't control it. It's almost as if their energy take over. And so her energy took over in that instance. And it was like the way she was answering the questions was very, very wise, but you could just tell the context of her sentences was of that of a young girl.
Wow.
If I could give you an example, I want to think, what was one of the questions I asked? Did I ask what was my soul's mission, or what is my soul's mission?
I think that was one.
And her answer was it to love yourself? It was to love yourself. Pretty much find out what you're doing right now. You're on the course for your soul's mission. So to love yourself, you have a ministry for other young women. But first you have to find out who you are and pretty much pour into yourself that so you can pour into others. It's pretty much what she said in a nutshell.
Wow. We've got some questions. Thank you for sharing that, Jazz. I got some more questions for you too. The audience wants to know, I've got Abdul with Spark Aura. He wants to know how you can find Pia. And you guys, I'm going to put up a banner with her website. And you guys can see her website. It's thesoulspaonline.com. Or you can go and follow her at Pia_the Soul Mentor. Pia_the Soul Mentor on TikTok, Instagram, and probably Facebook too, and YouTube, all of that stuff. But this is the website, thesoulspaonline.com. Write it down, take a picture, share it with your friends, get your session in. Okay. So we've got that going. And then as for you, Jazz, I just find your experience to be so profound. The fact that you went to scenes in your current life and then went to the past life. I guess what I want to ask is, did you think you were going to get all of that?
No, I didn't. I didn't even think that I was going to. I honestly didn't feel like I had any trauma in my current life that I could recall that I would need to heal from. I thought that things that I needed to heal from would have occurred in my past life, but obviously it didn't turn out that way, which opened my eyes to, that's why you're here. That's why you did this session. I was impulsive with it too. Like I actually booked the session watching just like you guys are, like literally asking questions on her website, boom, booked. And I was in there like the next week. So it was time for that to come to the surface. Honestly, what I experienced, I didn't think I was going to get anything from my current life at all. And I was kind of confused at first about whether I was in my current life or my past life. And Pia kept asking me, are you in your current life or are you in your past life? And I'm like, I think I'm in my past life, but everyone that I'm seeing is from my current life today. So after looking back on it and speaking with Pia about it, I was definitely in my current life. And I definitely had to heal from a childhood trauma that I experienced that I didn't even know I experienced. But obviously my spirit guides knew because they took me there instantly. That was the first thing that we went to was boom, this. And I felt that pain. And that pain was so vivid. I felt it in my body, like my physical body. And it was so hard to just heal from it. But I think, Pia, I said, I need some help. I need help healing from this because I just honestly couldn't believe it. It was almost as if the world as I knew it was flipped upside down.
Yeah.
Things that I thought was not. And to come to realization of those things during that moment was just like, I didn't know how to take it.
Wow.
I didn't know how to take it at all. But,
you did it.
Brought to me for a reason. Yeah, it was brought to me for a reason. So
yes, it was.
So Pia, my question for you, because Jazz immediately went to a present life. Would you say in your experience that is common, or is that a one-off? Like, how does that work?
No, it is common because this session that I offer, it's not just about past life regression. It's about shadow work too. And, and I preach shadow work just so that you can, just keep that's like the maintenance for the soul. If you do it often enough. So
one thing, wait 1 second, because you be going real fast, and some of my audiences knew they wasn't here with us. What is shadow work? Right. Give us what is shadow work? You're taking us fast.
Shadow work Shadow work is a process of going inside and facing your dark side, your fears, your traumas, your hurts, your pains, those things that you suppress. We
Mm,
wear a lot of masks out here. We might look this way to our boss and our colleagues and our
mm-hmm,
friends, but when we get behind closed doors and we take our mask off, it's a totally different person. Sometimes we feel like we just don't measure up to people and we have to act a certain way because
mm-hmm.
this society does not want us to be authentic.
Right.
Spirit wants you to be authentic because that's what you came here to do, is to be authentic. But this 3D realm, they don't want that. They don't want you to know who you are. So it's a
Mm,
process of helping you to understand who you are, remembering who you are. And in order to do that, you have to go inside. You
mm-hmm,
have to be still and know one who you are, and so you face those fears. You take a deep dive into that. You go back to that instance in something that's happening in your current life that you may have suppressed because it was just too painful for you, or you just didn't want to deal with that.
mm-hmm,
Or maybe you tried to tell mama or you tried to tell daddy, but they just shut you down because
mm-hmm,
they didn't want to hear it, they didn't want to deal with it either.
mm-hmm,
They just didn't. They used to tell me all the time, shut your mouth up. You're talking too much. Go on over there and sit down. Or
right.
go outside and sit
Sit
down.
down.
And
Mm-hmm,
that's how the shadow self starts to form. And so when you don't address these issues and your shadow self starts showing up, and you know when it's showing up in your life because you'll get triggered. Something
mm-hmm,
that you see on the movies or hear, it'll trigger you and you'll be like, what? Dang, why did I just lose it like that? Why is that
mm-hmm.
bothering me like that? It's because something is on the inside of you that needs to be addressed too. So the
Wow.
past life and regression is like shadow work on steroids because
Okay.
it's going all the way back. Because if this issue is an issue in your current life, 9 times out of 10, it ain't something new. It's probably
Mm-hmm.
something that followed you from lifetime to lifetime.
Mm. And so what in your expertise, what all is it, what are the likely outcomes of a past life regression session? So you said, you can go to a present life and deal with shadow work. What else? What are the other components?
So it's like a four parts in this actual session that I offer. The first stop on the journey, yes, you are going to go to shadow work, okay? And your guides are going to bring it up whether you like it or not. It's just what it
Period.
is. It's just what it is. And
Yeah.
then after we deal with that, then we go on to the past lives. Then we go from scene to scene to scene. And then the next stop on the journey is the release and the healing, because you're
Mm.
going to get your guides will show up. We're going to be asking those questions. After that is done, I'm going to ask the guides to scan you, do a body scan from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. And they're going to detect any kind of hitchhiker. Okay? They'll be like, hitchhiker on the left knee, the
Uh-huh.
right shoulder, and in her forehead.
Uh-oh.
They gotta go.
Must be going now.
They gotta go. And so we deal with that. That's a whole nother process in and of itself. And
Mm,
so then it comes to the end of the whole regression, and then we do a wrap up. That's the fourth part. I
mhm,
bring the client back, and they gather themselves, and whatever questions that they have, they get a chance to ask those questions. In how do you feel? Do you remember anything?
mm,
What was the most memorable part for you? What's your questions? How do you feel?
mhm.
And things like that. So that's a part of the wrap up. So it's those parts that go into the complete therapy session.
Okay, and Pia, I got a question for you from the audience. Spark Aura wants to know how long you've been doing this.
I will be coming up on my first year in a few months. So I haven't
Mhm,
been doing it, this particular piece of my soul's journey, for a long time.
mhm,
But a portion of it I have been, because I've been a spiritual counselor and advisor for about 20 years. I just wanted to go deeper, and I knew I was supposed to go deeper. I'm like, nah, I know it's got to be more than this. It's got to be. And Spirit say it is, but you ain't ready yet. So we're going to get you ready, and then. So here I is.
There you is. So with hypnotherapy, you would say it's a part of the 20 years experience as well, or a piece of that?
I'm gonna say yes. I was getting glimpses of it throughout, my whole spiritual journey. And sometimes spirit will show you different things and aspects of yourself. They'll show you different gifts, but you can't make rhyme or reason of it. All you know is that I just know things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I know. Nobody told me. I just know it. And you get glimpses, but they're not gonna reveal everything because one, you ain't ready. You still learning who you are. You're still trying to remember who you are as a divine being. And so you are going to have to do the work. You can't heal somebody unless you heal yourself first. And sometimes that takes a minute. And for me, I guess it took 20 years.
You're ready when you're ready. Perfect. I just want to give some shout outs. I got some people in the chat. I see King Simon. Thank you for joining. Feel free to drop your links in the chat, King Simon, so I can tell everybody how to follow and support your brand, channel, books, and YouTube presence. Special shout out to Abdul. You guys, if you have any questions, I can see them, so send them on over. And question for Jazz. So in doing this, I know you said you would do it again. What do you think the hardest part of the session was for you?
The hardest part? I think going through the trauma that I went through, or the trauma being revealed to me that I went through. I'm just gonna go ahead and just put it out there. I'm not gonna really go into grave detail, but it was pretty much revealed to me that I had went through what do you want to call it? Some form of molestation.
Yeah.
And when it was revealed to me, I actually felt that physical pain in my body. And to come to an understanding of how it happened, why it happened, and the person that
it was.
Exactly. It was so hard to accept that. Even now, like right now, it's still hard to really accept it, although I have. It's just that I think that was the hardest part, was just facing that and not even having recollection of it happening. So when I was asking, like, is that normal to not know that this has happened?
Right.
And Pia, I think you was like, yeah, that is normal. Pretty much I just suppressed that so deep, so much inside of me, and so deep inside of me that I pretty much forgot it, or I have had amnesia about it.
Yep. Dissociative amnesia.
Yeah. So I honestly didn't know how to accept it. I didn't know how to face that. That's just like somebody coming to you and just telling you your whole life that you thought it was a lie.
Yeah.
How do you?
That's gotta be tough.
In 3 hours. You have 3 hours to really face that. Really, less than that.
Yeah.
How do you face that? So I think that was the hardest part, was just coming to the realization of that being what it was for me.
Yeah. And again, I commend your bravery, honesty, and boldness, and even wanting to talk about this and give us just the insider preview of what we could potentially expect during our sessions. And audience, if you guys have any questions for Jazz specifically, or Pia, feel free to drop those in. This is the time. We are only going to be on for an hour, so we've got about 20 minutes left. So y'all get in and get in there quickly. Another thing that I am curious about for you, Jazz, is when you went back and explained some of the pieces of your session, did you find it that people were, how can I say, skeptical about your experiences or questioned the integrity of it all?
When you say people, you mean like my family?
Yes.
Or just anyone that I just
shared this with? Like, what was the overall consensus of feedback that you got when you explained your experience?
When I explained it on social media briefly, I didn't really go into detail. The responses that I got on social media was just like, wow. Like, and I had some people that was just like, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like, you're really opening my eyes to doing it. A lot of people are intrigued and want to know more. When I opened up to my family about it, and a few people already knew in my family, they already knew what I was going to do. And when I really shared my experience with them, some of them was just like, you got to be careful. They was just like, you got to be careful when you're sharing your experience with people, or pretty much, just coming to a realization of who you are as a person. You have to be careful with sharing that with others, because you might trigger other people's trauma. So just be careful with sharing that with people. But my mom specifically, I feel like she was just more intrigued than anything. But I feel like she wants to do it as well. I just think that she's scared. So honestly, y'all, I did this session, a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
I think it was 2 weeks ago, because we had the holiday.
It was 2, yeah.
2 weeks ago?
Uh-huh.
Every day since I've done this session, my mom texts me and say, hey, can you come over and bleach my hair? Hey, can you come over and dye my hair? Hey, listen. So the first 2 or 3 nights, I'm over there bleaching and dyeing her hair. And y'all, I don't do hair.
I was going to say, since when did that start? Okay.
Yeah, I don't do hair, so I don't even know why. But when I got there and started doing it, she's asking me questions like, so what happened? Well, so every night, y'all, she's asking me a different question about my session every night. So even I went over there, what is that? Thursday, I went over there Tuesday to bleach her hair again. I said, Ma, at this point, your hair about to fall out. I said, let's just sit down and talk about it, because
period. Call her to the carpet. Mom, what's up?
Let's talk about it.
You really want to know.
Yeah, she really I think she really wants to do it. I think she's just scared, because I know if I have trauma, and I'm 33 years old.
Yeah.
I'm 33. I have 33 years worth of trauma. She has double that. So, and I'm trying to persuade her, like, Mom, just come do it. Like, I'll go with you. Like, I really want you to do it. I really want you to heal from the things that you've been through. And she just, she's like one of those quiet type of women. Like, she don't really speak too much on things. And she's just like, I don't know, Yeah. So, and I feel like, honestly, I'm the chosen one in my family. Okay. And the reason I say that is because I'm in tune with who I am. I'm in tune to a lot of things. And I feel like my bloodline has some type of curse when it comes to, like, and I'm speaking for the women, when it comes to like men, relationships, things like that. Like, we can't seem to get it right. So I feel like I'm going to be the one who's going to put an end to that.
That's beautiful.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I've also had some cousins who was like, yo, you're weird. Like, you on this Ghostbusters stuff. Like, you want to go chasing the spirit. Yeah. They said I was weird.
That's okay.
That's okay. But you healing, though.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm healing and I'm in tune. So, exactly. So I've got different response. Then I've also got some family members who opened up to me and was just like, hey, like, I've gone through that. I've experienced that. I know what it feels like. And I felt like that kind of gave me a sense of comfort as well. But I'm definitely trying to get more of my women family members on board with this.
Yeah.
I feel like it's imperative. And the only reason why I'm targeting the women is because I feel like we're so powerful.
We are.
Yeah.
It's nothing against men. I love men, but women are so powerful. We're very powerful. And I feel like once we tap into that and really know who we are and the power that we hold,
we're unstoppable. Exactly. So another question for you would be, in your experience, I know we had some present trauma. We had a car crash. Can you recall any other details that the audience might be intrigued to know about from your session at all, or any other highlights?
When I was going through my healing process, when I asked Pia for help and I was like, I need help, she called on the spirits to come and help me. And I felt the presence of my grandmother. And she pulled my grandmother through. Another soul peak came through. And you know, I feel like that was very comforting for me because in my real life today, well, that was my real life, but in my actual life today, currently now, my grandmother was my go-to person when I would experience anything traumatic. Like I would coddle under her. When I lost my daughter, my grandmother, I literally packed my bags and went to stay with my grandmother for maybe about a month, just because I just wanted her comforting and her support. And so when she came through at that moment, it was very comforting for me. And she even said, like, it surely is a lot of stuff in here. Like, and that's how
She sure did.
And that's how she talk, huh?
yeah, that's
She said it.
She was like, it's a lot of stuff in here to clean up. Because Pia, you was like, I need you to make sure we clean it up down there. Like, we need to clean up everything, get it all out. And she was like, it's a lot of stuff in here to be cleaning, but okay. And she also said something that stood out to me. She was like, you know, I always try to protect her. Like I always wanted to protect her. And Pia asked, like, well, what do you mean by that? And she was like, you know, I just wanted to protect her from what she thought it was versus what it actually was. Who she thought this person was not who that person actually was. But I wanted to kind of shield that from her. I never wanted her to know. And so after doing this session and speaking with a lot of family members, a lot of things started to come to the light that I didn't know. They had stories to share with me that I was like, what? Really? Like, wow, like that really happened? I didn't know. So the accident, also, before we even got to my past life with that train wreck, that person kept trying to come through.
The person that attacked you in some way? Okay.
They kept trying to come through. So when we would go to different scenes, and Pia would ask, like, okay, well, what do you see now? How are you feeling? And I would go quiet because I felt their energy there, or they would even be in that scene. So I wanted to ignore it completely. And I would just like go quiet for a little minute and then kind of share with her what I'm seeing. And I think Pia, even you were like, okay, well, we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
And Pia, I had a question for you. But let me finish. Y'all. Because y'all, listen, ever since this session, I promise you, I have like 100 videos in my phone of me just speaking on it, and I'm actually going to put it together and like do my own interview about it.
Beautiful.
And so when I got to the train wreck, that scene started out with me just standing on the beach, on the ocean, and just feeling like I really just wanted to just end it all. Honestly, I felt overwhelmed. I felt like I was tired with life. And this is in my past life, guys. So I'm not even in my current life anymore. And I was still a lady. I was still, I want to say I was about 40, in my 40s. I was tall and slim. And I was just standing on the beach, really just thinking about ending it all. And then, you know, Pia, I think we fast forward, and I ended up in a car, like some friends and cousins, and you know, they're all drinking, smoking, and I'm sitting in the back seat. You know, like I don't know if you guys ever had one of those moments where you in a car and everybody just in party mode, but you in your mind,
you ain't feeling it. You ain't got no kick it.
Yeah, you're in deep thought. You're looking out the window. I'm hitting the blunt, but y'all doing y'all thing. And that was the scene for me. I was just in my mind, and I don't know what it was about that life that just made me so depressed to where I was ready to end it all. I just didn't care anymore. And obviously neither did they, whatever they had going on. So, oh wait,
I'm here.
Okay, because I don't see you guys anymore. Okay,
you're here. You were giving the story, so I was giving you a little FaceTime. But if you want to stick, that's fine.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I like it like this.
Okay.
So then, so I end up in a car with them, and somehow, some way, the person who was driving was just drunk and belligerent and was trying to race the train, trying to beat the train across the tracks. And then boom, the train was dragging us down the tracks. And that was that. It was over with. Everyone died on the scene.
Wow.
But Pia, this is the question that I had for you. When my grandmother peeked through and Jade peeked through, which was my daughter, the first question you asked them was, who is God to you?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know, because you didn't ask the first person that question. So I wanted to know, what was the reason you asked that question first?
Because of a biblical scripture that says, test the spirit by the spirit. We have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of trickster energies that try to do just that. They try to trick. And
Mm-hmm.
so I will test the spirit. And they have to tell the truth when it comes to source. They have to. And sometimes I can pick up on an off energy,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, get out of here. We're not doing that.
Right.
But yeah,
So was it
that's
that you
why.
picked up on that off energy the first time, the first person came through, and you was just like, no, so I need to test the rest of y'all to see what's what.
That was a part of it. And
Mhm.
then I trust my intuition. Because spirit be talking to me too.
Mhm.
Everybody be on board. But I didn't I kind of got a little tingling, if
Mhm.
you will. But when your daughter came through, um, I just knew in my know. I don't even think I asked her that particular question. I think I asked your grandmother.
No, you asked them both.
I asked both of them. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah. But it is a way to test the spirit, just to see, are you from the light? What's your definition of God?
Right.
Because if they're not, that you gonna know immediately.
Right.
You're gonna know. Most of them just won't even say nothing.
Right.
And I'd be like, okay.
And that,
Bye.
yeah, and that was the energy from the first soul peak. Guys, remember, I'm calling these soul peaks. So that was the energy from the first soul peak. When you were asking them
Mm-hmm.
questions,
Mm-hmm.
um, they didn't want to answer,
Right, exactly.
or it was very vague answers, like very vague. And even the
Mm-hmm.
energy that I felt on my end, because remember, their soul or their energy is really coming through me. So I feel everything that they're feeling. I see everything that they're thinking, all of that, right? So even the energy from that one was just like very cold, very evil, very negative. And so if you probably would have asked that question, you would have got nothing.
So
You would
I
have got
remember seeing glimpses
Mm-hmm.
of your session, Jazz, and during that scene, when Pia was asking that particular person questions, your whole energy just shifted. It was very short, cold, dry, and I
mhm,
was like, "Oh my goodness!" I was like,
mhm,
"Dang, what's up with Shorty?" You know what I
Yeah,
mhm,
mean?
that
And then
person
as
didn't
it
know.
went on, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, okay,
mhm,
And
yeah."
see, the here's the thing. Before you even said what was going on,
you knew.
I knew.
Mhm,
Mhm.
I knew time had started, what happened.
Mhm.
And so that is one of the that's one of the reasons why I will ask the guides, no matter if it's ancestors, if it's angels, if it's cosmic beings, ascended masters, if they come to help. I
Mhm.
will ask them, I'm gonna need you to scan her from the top of her head to the sole of her feet. Now, that's why I knew that energy was not attached.
Mhm.
See, and sometimes you can have imprints, that's just
mhm,
lingering out there. And I think that was just what that was, because the air in the like the atmosphere in the room kind of like shifted. And I'm like, we're not even doing that.
mhm,
Mhm.
We're not doing that. See, we're not. And but he had to go. But they did not detect anything that was attached to you. Not nothing. So we didn't even have to go there. But I was ready. I was like, oh, let's go.
So when you say the energy wasn't attached, do you mean after I healed, or
He,
before?
wa- he was it was not attached to you, like during that process. If it had been attached to you in that lifetime,
Mhm,
then I would have been able to pick up on that. and then it would have had to leave. You would have
Mm-hmm.
released that energy. But from what I was getting, I'm thinking that that same energy has, because in every scene there was an energy of that kind of trauma. Even the
Mm-hmm.
mother in that particular lifetime was going through some of the same things.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, that is like how generational curses just filter down from generations to generation, because it was going right through your bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to check in my spirit. I'm like, and you the ambassador for your family. You are the one that's been called to break these generational curses. It's you. You are the one that's going to have to chop that thing off at the head. Break
Mm-hmm.
those curses, do everything in your power to heal your bloodline. That's you, your ancestors, and your descendants, because it's coming down the bloodline. But when that was all said and done, and they did that scan, they couldn't find nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It knew better. It couldn't have, it wasn't going to be able to attach at that point. No way. It couldn't.
Right.
Mm-mm.
So when we say attached, right, we mean, or do you mean that before that was revealed of what it was, and I felt those, because y'all, I started feeling, because Pia asked, she was like, "Do you feel any pain in your body?" I'm like, "Yes, I feel it in my abdomen and in my vagina." So when you say attached, was that pain the attachment, or what's the difference? I guess is what I'm trying to ask. Like, what's the difference between being an attachment?
If an inner you have emotional energy. Everything is energy. You have emotional energy. Let's just say you have been grieving for a very, very, very long time.
Right.
Regardless of what life you're in, you've been grieving for a long time. The longer you hold on to a low vibrational energy, and grieving is a low vibrational energy, even though it's normal, because we're human and we go through the process of grieving. But we can't grieve for the rest of our life, because
Right.
it brings our energy down low. So the longer it stays on the inside of you, you become more susceptible to other low vibrational energies coming to attach to your auric field. They're like parasites.
Mm-hmm.
The longer they stay there, they
Yeah.
can, whatever their characteristics are, you can start picking up on some of their characteristics, some of their bad habits.
Oh my God.
Sometimes if you have an attachment that was an alcoholic or addicted to some kind of drug or something, and it attaches to you and you don't heal it, next thing you know what, I want to fire up a blunt or something. And
Mm-hmm.
then, or I want to drink, or I want to do this, because the addiction is there, but you don't even know why you really are doing it, because a lot of stuff that we carry, it ain't even ours.
Right.
Sometimes it's our ancestors, sometimes it's that energy. So you have
Right.
emotional energies that can be attached to you. You also have spiritual energies that can be attached to you too. These are earthbound spirits that decided not to go into the light for whatever their reasons is. Some of them don't even know that they're not even alive anymore. Some want
Mm.
to stick behind because they got kids and they don't want to leave their kids. Some's life's been cut short and they're mad. They want revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And so and some don't even think that they will be accepted, that source would even accept them. They are thinking that they are going to be judged, ridiculed, and punished. So they're not going to take the chance. They would rather take their chances and just wander the earth seeking, you know, who they're going to hitchhike with.
Mm.
Right.
And
Can
then
I ask? Oh, go ahead.
Mhm.
when they find that person, because 9 times out of 10, that energy is gonna match their energy. If they were someone who was depressed, they're gonna find somebody who was depressed. If
Mm.
they were someone who drank a lot, you'll find those kind of energies in bars or in
Mm-hmm.
clubs, because they're looking for a host so
Mhm.
that they can attach to them. And that person is still drinking. They are a happy camper, but
Mhm.
their presence, they are attached to a body that is not theirs and is causing havoc in that person. So it's different kinds of attachments. They're like parasites.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's so funny that you say that because I was just doing a video and I was explaining that and I was just like, it's like a parasite attached to its host, and you are the host, and the parasite is literally sucking the life out of you until
Exactly.
you have nothing left. Um, so that's very true. But I also want to add to that I feel it is imperative that we heal from any trauma that we have, any attachment that we have. It's imperative that you heal from that, because if you don't, my God, it's almost as if you sleep and you just keep hitting that snooze button. You're never gonna wake up. You're
Mm-hmm.
never gonna see the light. You're
Mhm.
always you're gonna stay in that deep, darkest state that you're in, and you probably don't even know that you're in it. But it's just very imperative that you heal from anything that you're going through, whether big or small. I just
Mhm.
like to add that to that because when I had that energy in those places, my any relationship that I would get into, or just sexual relationships that I would have, it almost was like a soul tie with every last one of them. It was an obsession. It became very like volatile. It just became very strong. You know what I'm saying? Like very negative in
Mm-hmm.
that sense. And that was because I had that negative attachment in those places, in my vagina, in my abdomen. So when I would have sexual relations with my partners, I feel like that would kind of change the energy of the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, because I didn't heal that. I didn't heal those things. I didn't heal from that trauma. So it was there. And it was just like Pia said, the parasite attaching to that host. So that parasite was attaching to that negativity, and it was
Mm-hmm.
feeding off of the negativity that was just harboring there. So
That you didn't even
it's
know.
just imperative to heal from anything that you guys are going through.
Very,
And
very
so
well said.
extremely. Go ahead, Pia.
Now, I was about to say, like, I had a client who had couldn't figure out why she was always having pains in her stomach. Could not figure it out. Doctors couldn't figure it out, and go through the regression. And she had actually had a lot of trauma to her stomach. She got stabbed actually,
Mm.
Sheesh.
and that was why. And so when she saw that, and we actually had to like just go in and clear all of that out and fill up that space and just heal it. No more stomach pain.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
No
It's
more
just
Right.
so
stomach
it's
pain.
so amazing to hear how subconsciously and spiritually things impact you, and then they bleed over into your current life and create this like broken record of experiences that are just as negative or harmful as what it was you experienced before, that you need to release, heal, and let go. So
Mm.
I commend both of you for the work that you do. And Jazz, excuse me, yeah, Jazz, thank you for sharing your testimony with us. We are approaching the 10 o'clock hour. So if anybody has any questions, you can send them. But I think we're going to wrap up. Jazz, is there anything else that you want to share with the audience about your experience, or final messages or words of encouragement?
Um, my final message is just don't overthink it. Go with the flow. If you're here and you're watching this, it's for a reason. So no, seriously, it's for a reason. Your spirit guides, the universe brought you here for a reason. Book a session, and y'all, I promise you, I'm not getting any type of pay, no type of money for this. I am just honestly here to say it's worth it. Pia, are you still having your sale?
Promo. The
Yeah.
promo.
That
That was before
I didn't want
Thanksgiving.
to say it, or
no, that ended on the 25th. But
I
I
gotta
do
run it back.
I do the sessions in person and virtual. So the in person is 444 and the virtual is 344.
And that is 100, not dollars. Yes.
100. Yes, it
Right.
is.
But still, my final message is just follow your gut, follow your instincts. You're here for a reason. You're watching this for a reason. Book that session. Find out who you were, because in order for you to know who you are, you have to know who you were.
I'm trying to
So
tell. Mhm.
exactly. So take that step, book that session, and then I will be looking forward to hearing y'all testimony the next time we have this podcast.
I'm telling you, well said, Jazz. And while you're on the line, I keep seeing this shiny little sign in the background, which is so cool.
Oh, yes.
I was like,
That's my
Snaz.
name.
Hello, Snaz. And on IG, you are Snaz Events. So what is it that you do?
So I'm an event planner. I do event planning. We specialize in creating everlasting memories, one event at a time. And I do pretty much everything except weddings. I'm working my way into weddings, but if you're having a bridal shower, birthday party, baby shower, you name it, we'll pull up and, you know, give you an experience that you paid for.
Period. So I have a couple of clips here. You know, I'm all about growth and supporting our fellow entrepreneurs. So I definitely want the audience to kind of get a glimpse of this because we're in the holiday season. She's really good with decor, balloons, letters, just custom experiences of all kinds. She's really
beautiful.
talented at what she does. So
Yes.
this is a little sneak peek, guys. Follow at Snaz Events if you need some holiday sprinkles, birthday celebrations, etc. And thank you again, Snaz, for joining us. And we
One more
appreciate
thing.
your testimony.
I also offer balloon services separately. So if you guys like, hey, I don't need a full event plan, I just need balloons, I'm your girl. Just
Period.
follow us on Snaz Events and we'll make it happen for you. I thank y'all so much for this opportunity. And we'll be in touch. I'll be talking to y'all later.
Of course you will. Thanks, Naz. And then Pia, you want to give the audience any final messages or links? I have your Instagram there at Pia_the Soul Mentor. I've got your website popping at the bottom. Anything else you want to share with the audience, love?
It's time to heal, y'all. It really is. And I know that you are tired of trying your hardest to be successful in this life, and you get this close and it's always something. It's always something. I feel like we're about to go into this new age. We're about to go into a new year. It's a 9-year, okay? You got to go in that year in your standing in your full authority, knowing who you are. I mean, think about it. Why would anybody spend as much time, effort, energy, money, lie, cheat, steal, kill, rob, and everything else to try to keep you from figuring out who you are? It must be something on the inside of you that they got to have, but they don't want you to know who you are. They don't want you to know that you are a divine, eternal, powerful being. They don't want that. They don't want that. But you know what? You should want it. You should want to remember who you are. You should want to stand in your power so that you can create the kind of reality that you want in this life. That's what we came here for, to create that kind of reality that we want. This is your world. You the creator of this world.
Right.
So just stand in it and book that session.
And face it.
Because we about that. We got to do it. I did it. And it wasn't pretty.
It often
all.
But it's beautiful when you come out on the other side.
Oh, absolutely. On the other side of through is a wonderful, beautiful thing.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jazz, again, and Pia for coming on the show. We are signing off. I am your host, Destiny. You can also book a session with me at bit.ly/Destiny Reed. You see the link at the bottom. So, guys, there'll be more to come, and to stay tuned for next week's episode. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.